Well, welcome back to part 2. Today I'm going to put these 3 in here, and then these 2 will be going in there. But I'll weld these in first, and then I'll spin it round, and then I'll weld them 2 in. So I'll set everything up and get on with it. Well, that's that side done. It looks good to me. I'll flip it over and do the top bits. Right, so now I put these in place, I've marked them up, and I'll weld these. I'll just go over that again then. Just filled the gap in between, but now I need to that's that done. So now I'll flip it over and do the other side. That's it flipped over. So now I'll weld this side. That's them bits. I'll turn it over and do them bits. Right, I've turned it over, and now I'll do these, and that's them structural parts put in. I need to do a bit of measuring then for the parts where it goes onto the front loader. Right, so now I'll spin it around and I'll get the other pieces marked up to where they're going to go, and then I'll weld them on. Just cut this and this, and I've cut a slot in and drilled an hole at the sides of each one, so the loader will fit inside it and the pin will go through it. So I'm just going to weld that up. That's that welded on. There's just a bit now to go down the front here, but I need to make that up so the top link goes onto that. Well, now I have to make something to fit down here with holes in, so the hydraulic ram fits in, and I put a pin through, then the hydraulic ram can tip and tilt it. So I'm just going to weld this up now, and I'll show you once I've welded it. Put that there, then it don't move. Just a couple of bits now, one at this, I turn it over and do the other bit. There we go, that's that done. I just need to weld that on now in place. I'll just put it in place and then I'll weld it on. There we go, that's that bit done. I'll let it all dry and cool down. Not dry because it doesn't dry, I'll let it all cool down, and I need to flip it over, and I've got some long thin pieces to put on that the pallet tines hook onto, so I'll have to weld all them on. I'll just check, make sure I've got enough wire, if not I'll have to go get some. Right, I've just put this bottom plate on here. I've cut out there, so when the pallet tines go in, you can take them off if you want to. I've just put clamps on to hold it. I'm going to tack weld it on there, Then I'm going to do this one, fix this in place, tack weld that where it needs to go, and then I'll flip it over and I'll tack weld all that before I run a solid bead all the way around. So that's now tacked. So I'll measure to set this one, and I can do that. Right, that one's set up now. So I'll spot weld that. So that's that tacked. So now what I need to do is flip it over and tack all the other side. So I'll just get it flipped over and we'll carry on from there. Right, that's that turned round. So now I'll weld on this other side and tack weld it for now, and then I'll do solid beads all the way down both sides. Right, that's that all tacked. So now I'm just going to go along and do a solid bead all the way down on this side and on that side. Right, well I've run out of welding wire, so I'm going to have to stop and carry on when I've got some more. Well, I went and got some wire and I put it in. I did a little bit before turning the camera on just to check it, and then I ran out of gas. So I'm afraid that's as far as I've got. I've got a bit more welding to do along the front edge, along here, along this edge down here. Then I've got to flip it over and do the other side, but I'm going to have to do that when I've got some more gas. So I'm afraid this is going to have to be the end of part 2, and there's going to have to be a third part. So I hope you liked so far what I've done. Please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.